Coach. Go on the road and get a big-time win over a Northern Illinois program that we talked about last week. It was respectable, and you guys obviously got it done 38-28. Sitting at 3-1 after the win on Saturday, what did you like about your team's ability to kind of claw back into that game and end up getting the win?
It was a character win. I mean, I think we had talked a lot about the ability to step on the field when things aren't going well and dictate the energy, and that takes confidence and belief and mental intensity. And we talked a lot about that this season. These guys feel good about their preparation. They feel good about the program process. But, when we go into a Saturday, for 4 quarters, the result hangs in the balance, and as a team you have to learn how to go and grab it, and you're not entitled to it just because you've worked hard or you're doing things differently. And so I felt like I saw a group there in the second half, in the third quarter, that made the decision collectively to go get it. And it started with the defense generating stops, and I thought that was they had a couple of explosive touchdowns that were frustrating, and a couple of early drives that were frustrating where we weren't able to work to the stop. So for them to come out and to get that first stop, deliver the ball back to the offense, and then I felt like there were just a sequence of counter punches there that we crawled back in, and then we slammed the door shut, and it was fun to be a part of.
Coach, offensively, you decided to make the switch to AJ Swann, of course. Played the entire game, 18 for 28, 255, and 4 touchdowns. SEC Freshman of the Week. When did you and the staff decide to go with AJ last week, and what made you make that decision heading into that road game?
Well, we knew we had to do something because there was kind of 6 quarters of evidence that had been built from the second half of Elon through the Wake Forest game that was the trend was showing an inability to sustain drives, an inability to convert on third down, and then we had also been hurt by turnovers, to the tune of 21 points against when we were playing Wake Forest. And so obviously we have a great belief in Mike Wright, and we he's done some remarkable things for us early here in the season, and those things aren't to be lost. But we were able to see a glimpse of energy in the offense there at the end of the Wake Forest game when we inserted AJ. And so we made the decision to go in the week and really evaluate and give time to evaluate that position and how it might look against Northern Illinois. Obviously, anytime you make a decision to shift course at that position, it's a big deal, and particularly when you're replacing a guy that has done a lot to build the early success of the season. But in the end, my job and our responsibility as a staff is to do what we feel like is best for the program and best positions us to win. And so Coach Lynch and I met after Wednesday's practice in the evening and subsequently sat down with the 2 quarterbacks and communicated to them what our course was forward. And I don't think the result validates the decision. The decision was based off instinct and intuition and what we felt like was the best direction. I was very happy for AJ that he was able to come out and have success, and I think he showed glimpses of the player that we think he's going to be here. So we were excited for him, and now it's about replicating performance and also battling adversity, because as a freshman quarterback you're going to make mistakes, and we need to give him room to play through those mistakes and learn, because that's part of playing a freshman.
Yesterday you said there's a buzz around the program in your press conference. Where does that stem from you as the head coach? Obviously you get an exciting win on the road, a challenging win, but where does that stem from for you, that sort of buzz around the program?
Well, we have a group of people here that believe in the process we're undertaking, and again, we have conversations, particularly as a coaching staff, just around what progress looks like and what defines progress. And you have to be able to look at a team in a build that you believe in, and always keep vision for what this will be down the road. You're not always rewarded with the positive results, and the buzz created is having the ability to see that progress, but also see it manifest in some positive results. And I don't, there's not been anything easy about the early goings of the season. I mean, the Hawaii game, we were able to put distance between us and the opponent, but we had early adversity we battled, and I don't know that the team of the past would have handled that as well. I thought, again, in that game, we took a dominant mindset for 4 quarters, and that was fun to be a part of. But Elon was a tough, gutsy victory here. Wake Forest, we fell short, and it was, we scratched and clawed our way and tried to make a push at the end. And then we went on the road against Northern, and you had to battle back. So we're not getting style points right now, but for us internally, what we're seeing is just the early shift in a program that's learning how to win. And obviously, as we head into the SEC slate, that's going to be put to the test. But for us, it's not about who we're playing against. It's about just keeping our eye on the internal progress and making sure we're moving that needle each week.
Coach, I'm going to get to defense here in a second. I know you're a big defensive guy. I want to get to Will Shepard, though, offensively. Leads the country with 7 touchdowns, leads the SEC in receiving yards. What does his potential mean for this team and this offense this season? Because, we've seen what he's capable of. So what kind of potential does he have this season, and what does that mean for your offense?
Well, we hold Will in a very high regard here, and I think the fun thing about Shep is that he's just scratching the surface of his potential. We saw this in him, when we first got here. Honestly, just he's got length and athleticism. He's got really good hands. We're still. I want to see him become a dominant one-on-one player in those contested balls. I want to see him become known for winning on the 50-50 ball. But he's also been a dynamic blocker for us in the run game this season and has set a tone that way. We're talking about a tough player who loves the game, and that shows up in his preparation in practice every day. So he's a guy that, if he's able to go out and be an alpha receiver and to dominate his one-on-ones, you can have a great impact on winning from that position, particularly, when you have chemistry with the quarterback. And I think his success at Northern was a combination of both his own skills and then also being in sync with AJ and those guys, seeing coverage the same way and just linking up. And so as that relationship builds, we think obviously Will has a great chance to be a dominant receiver and a guy that becomes known in the league as a dominant receiver.
To the defense now, Coach. Yesterday you talked about eliminating space, and obviously it sounds simple, but in the SEC, that's obviously becomes a little bit more challenging when you're playing these types of offenses. So as a head coach, but also with your defensive staff, what are those challenges of eliminating the space when you've got so many weapons and playmakers to try to defend, especially here down the stretch? You have
to spread the hard down around the field. What we can do post snap to impact the quarterback position gives us the ability to keep the offense out of rhythm. That's the goal. What we've done here, particularly against Northern, I felt like. And I felt this way against Wake Forest too, is just we conceded too much space on the perimeter. So, we're not forcing them into a progression read. That ball's coming out now, and it's coming out now and immediately in big space. The further you are off the line, the more tempo you have at the start of the snap, the more you create the space. And we have guys that can play corner out there and can take away the space and be alphas and be aggressive. And we've seen that from them in practice and in performance at times. It's about having that all come together in the game, and there are really 3 things that we're looking at. One is, the varying of alignment for the corner, so that we can play off coverage, but we don't necessarily need to line 9 yards off the ball and tell everyone we're playing off coverage. That makes it really easy on the offense. The second is just the fundamental techniques involved. So every call we make, every coverage has a leverage, has a depth, has a tempo, and getting mastery over those things. What you should see as the down plays out is that space is eliminated naturally. That you're not maintaining the depth of alignment through the course of the down. That a 7-yard alignment depth becomes 5 yards, becomes 3 yards, becomes I'm in phase with the route now. and we need to have confidence to do that. And when you feel like you have the upper hand in a speed matchup, it becomes very easy to take the slack out of the play because you, in the end, trust yourself to run and catch up. We're building to that confidence because the fundamental techniques will allow us to be more effective players. And then the third thing is just leverage changes from the play caller. And Coach Howell and I, obviously he's got a great wealth of experience with this, but just talking about how we spread that hard down around the field, how we take pressure off. If we want to eliminate space, we have to be willing to press at times. We have to be willing to, cloud the corner and do some things that, again, attempt to steal the rhythm of the offense. What we can't do is sit back at 9 yards, allow pitch and catch completions, and allow an offense to get in a rhythm. A 5-yard hitch that's tackled immediately, even if it sets up 2nd and 5, to me is a good defensive snap. But it's about taking that space away, and it's about having the fundamental technique to take that space away that'll force the offense down the play sheet.
SEC plays here. This is what you play for. This is this is why you come to Vanderbilt to play in the SEC. Starts with Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Obviously a top 5 team. We know how good they are as a program. How do you prepare? We just talked about defensively overall, but how do you prepare for an offense like in Alabama that will spread you out, but they also want to establish the run?
Yeah, they have a really good run game. I mean, it's we devise schemes and structures to try to counter that. Again, I think going back to space in the run game equally. I mean, the bigger that they're able to make the windows to run through, the more challenging the tackle. And when we're setting up one-on-one tackles on the perimeter, it doesn't matter who you're playing against. Those things over time create explosive plays. The preparation though needs to be focused on Vanderbilt. It's our design that looks to force the offense again down the play sheet or to make them play left-handed. What we're looking for though is pulling the line of progress through the season. So, for example, the ability to cage the quarterback. That showed up last week where we had some rush lane integrity issues that the quarterback was able to extend the play. And, obviously that's something that we need to have a heightened focus on this week because we're playing against a quarterback that will make you pay for those things. But that's not about Alabama. That's about us improving within our structures. The first drive against Northern Illinois, there were two passes. Both were covered perfectly and well enough to where the quarterback was kind of retreating and trying to extend the play. Well, in both instances, in the moment of the play was broken and we're starting a scramble drill, we left our coverage responsibility and got eyes on the quarterback, which allowed 2 receivers behind us, which ultimately led to the first score. That's not a Northern Illinois thing. That's not an Alabama thing. That is a Vanderbilt thing. We have to understand the importance of plastering coverage and maintaining body-on-body contact with our coverage down the field so that we don't allow plays to extend and go for explosives. And so we keep a focus on us because in the end, our success is going to be dictated by our ability to continue to improve and to grow this team 2, into a collective force. And what we'd like to do is take that force each week and measure it against the opponent, but know that the better we build it, the more capable we're going to be of taking ownership over the outcome.
That's Vanderbilt head coach Clark Lee ahead of the Alabama matchup on Saturday night, 6:30 p.m. kickoff on the SEC Network in Tuscaloosa. Coach, thanks for taking the time.
Great to be with you.